Have you ever stood in the grocery store, picked up a food you've enjoyed for years, and then quietly put it back on the shelf because you weren't sure if it was still safe for your kidneys? For many people over 60, that's one of the first emotional changes after hearing the words chronic kidney disease. Suddenly, familiar foods no longer feel simple. You begin reading labels more carefully, comparing ingredients, and wondering whether you're making the right choice. The advice doesn't always make that easier. One healthcare provider may tell you to watch a certain nutrient. Later, an article online seems to emphasize something completely different. Before long, it's easy to wonder, is there anything left that's actually safe to eat? That's where many people become trapped. Not because they lack healthy options, but because fear creates more confusion than confidence. The good news is that kidney-friendly eating doesn't have to become a list of endless restrictions. In today's video, we'll explore 5 everyday foods that are commonly included in kidney-friendly eating plans when they fit an individual's medical needs. Along the way, we'll also clear up one of the biggest misunderstandings in kidney nutrition, a misunderstanding that causes many people to avoid a food that may still deserve a place on their plate. And the number one food on today's list surprises many people for a reason that has very little to do with the nutrient most often blamed. Before we begin, there's one idea that makes every food on today's countdown easier to understand. There is no single kidney diet that works for everyone. Your kidney function, blood test results, medications, blood pressure, and other health conditions all influence the foods your healthcare team may recommend. That's why organizations like the National Kidney Foundation emphasize individualized nutrition rather than one universal eating plan. If you've ever heard, never eat fruit, avoid all dairies, stay away from potatoes. Remember this, recommendations almost always depend on your personal health, not one rule that applies to everyone. The goal isn't to fear food. It's to understand it. Because understanding leads to better decisions than fear ever will. That's also why today's foods weren't chosen because they're trendy or because they promise dramatic results. There are no miracle foods that cleanse, repair, or reverse kidney disease overnight. Instead, each food on today's list offers a practical benefit. Some provide valuable nutrients. Others make balanced meals easier to enjoy. Together, they help create eating habits that are easier to maintain over time. Let's begin with number 5. When many people hear the word fruit, they immediately think sugar. Potassium. Something they should probably avoid. But that's only part of the story. Number 5 is blueberries. Blueberries may seem like an unexpected choice because fruit is often one of the first foods people question after a kidney diagnosis. Yet blueberries continue to appear in many kidney-friendly nutrition resources because, compared with many commonly eaten fruits, they're relatively lower in potassium while providing fiber and naturally occurring plant compounds. That doesn't mean they are right for everyone. Portion size, blood potassium levels, medications, and your personal nutrition plan still matter. But for many people, blueberries can remain an enjoyable food instead of becoming another unnecessary restriction. Researchers have long been interested in blueberries because of their deep blue color. That color comes from naturally occurring compounds called anthocyanins. More important than the name is what they represent. Colorful fruits and vegetables are consistently associated with healthy aging and cardiovascular health. Why does that matter? Because healthy blood vessels help deliver oxygen and nutrients to your kidneys every minute of the day. Blueberries aren't medicine. They're one small part of a balanced eating pattern. And that's an important distinction. Kidney health isn't determined by one meal. It's shaped by the choices we repeat consistently over time. Adding blueberries to your routine is simple. Sprinkle them over warm oatmeal. Enjoy a small serving with plain Greek yogurt if it fits your nutrition plan. Blend them into a kidney-friendly smoothie recommended by your healthcare team. Or keep frozen blueberries on hand so they're ready whenever you need them. Sometimes the healthiest habits are also the easiest to maintain. Instead of asking, "Should I stop eating fruit?" try asking, "Which fruits fit my personal nutrition plan, and how can I enjoy them regularly?" That small change in thinking often leads to healthier, more sustainable habits. Because one of the biggest challenges with kidney-friendly eating isn't finding healthy foods. It's keeping meals enjoyable enough to stick with. And that's where our next food makes a real difference. One of the hardest parts of living with chronic kidney disease isn't always knowing what to avoid. It's keeping healthy meals enjoyable. Most people start with good intentions. They cook at home. They buy healthier ingredients. But after a few weeks, something changes. The same vegetables, the same recipes, the same flavors. Before long, healthy eating begins to feel more like a routine than something you actually enjoy. And that's often when old habits quietly return. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you've grown tired of eating the same foods over and over again. That's exactly why our number 4 food deserves more attention. Cauliflower. It may not look exciting sitting in the produce section, but few vegetables are as versatile. One head of cauliflower can become creamy mash, a comforting soup, cauliflower rice, or a crispy roasted side dish. Instead of feeling limited, you suddenly have several different meals built from one simple ingredient. And that's one reason kidney dietitians recommend it so often. Healthy eating becomes much easier when meals still feel satisfying. Think about the foods many of us grew up enjoying. A warm bowl of soup. A comforting side dish with roasted chicken. A homemade dinner shared with family. Those experiences matter. Because food isn't only nutrition. It's comfort. It's routine. It's part of everyday life. Cauliflower helps preserve some of that feeling while fitting into many kidney-friendly meal plans. Steam it until soft and mash it with olive oil, garlic, and herbs. Roast it until the edges become golden and lightly crisp. Blend it into soup. Or use cauliflower rice in place of traditional rice for certain meals. The goal isn't to pretend cauliflower tastes exactly like something else. It's to discover new ways to enjoy healthy food without feeling restricted. There's another reason cauliflower appears in so many kidney-friendly resources. Compared with many commonly eaten starchy vegetables, it's generally lower in potassium while also providing fiber and vitamin C. Of course, that doesn't mean it's automatically right for everyone. Your blood test results, medications, portion sizes, and overall nutrition plan still guide the best choice. That's why kidney nutrition is always personal. No single vegetable is perfect for everyone. But having more flexible options makes healthy eating much easier to maintain. Sometimes the biggest difference isn't the food itself. It's how you prepare it. Light steaming creates a soft texture. Roasting brings out a sweeter, nuttier flavor that surprises many people the first time they try it. A simple change in cooking can completely change how much you enjoy a meal. And that's important, because the healthiest diet is the one you can actually keep following. Imagine sitting down to dinner. Baked chicken, roasted cauliflower with herbs, steamed grain beans, a small serving of fruit if it fits your nutrition plan. Nothing feels extreme. Just a simple meal that supports your health while still feeling comforting and familiar. But vegetables aren't the foods that confuse most people with kidney disease. Protein does. Should you eat more? Should you eat less? And how do you protect your kidneys while still protecting the muscles that help you stay strong and independent? That's where our next food changes the conversation. Should I eat enough protein? Or should I protect my kidneys? For many people living with chronic kidney disease, that question feels impossible to answer. One doctor reminds you not to eat too much protein. Then you read that older adults need enough protein to stay strong. Soon it feels like every source is saying something different. So which advice should you follow? Maybe the better question isn't how much protein to eat. It's which protein sources fit your personal nutrition plan. That brings us to number 3. Egg whites. It may surprise you that one small change, choosing the white more often than the yolk, can make a meaningful difference for many people with kidney disease. That's why egg whites appear in so many kidney-friendly meal plans. They provide high-quality protein while containing much less phosphorus than the yolk. Why does that matter? As kidney function declines, some people have more difficulty keeping phosphorus levels in balance. Over time, too much phosphorus in the blood can affect bone health and place extra stress on blood vessels. That's why healthcare teams routinely monitor phosphorus during CKD care. Of course, this doesn't mean everyone should avoid egg yolks. Many people can still enjoy whole eggs depending on their kidney function, lab results, medications, and guidance from their healthcare team. Kidney nutrition is never one size fits all. But protein isn't only about nutrition labels. It's also about helping you stay active. Think about getting out of a chair, carrying groceries, walking up the stairs, or playing with your grandchildren. Those everyday moments depend on healthy muscles. As we get older, muscle loss naturally becomes more common. That's why getting enough protein remains an important part of healthy aging, even while protecting your kidneys. The goal isn't eating as much protein as possible. It's choosing the right amount from the right sources. Egg whites make that easier. Scramble them with fresh herbs. Add them to an omelet with vegetables that fit your nutrition plan. Or prepare them ahead for a quick breakfast or lunch. Nothing expensive. Nothing complicated. Just simple meals that are easy to enjoy week after week. Like every food on today's list, egg whites aren't a treatment for kidney disease. They're simply one evidence-based choice that fits well into many kidney-friendly eating patterns when guided by your individual medical needs. But protein isn't the only nutrient that's been misunderstood over the years. For decades, many people believed all fat was something to avoid. Today, we know the story is much more balanced. And our next food is one of the best examples of why. For many people living with chronic kidney disease, grocery shopping becomes surprisingly stressful. Foods that once felt familiar suddenly become difficult to choose. You pick up a bottle, read the labels, put it back, then reach for another. After a while, it becomes easier to avoid buying certain foods altogether. That's exactly what happened with fat. For years, many Americans believed low fat automatically meant healthier. Today, we know the picture is much more balanced. The real question isn't simply how much fat you eat. It's what kind of fat becomes part of your everyday meals. That brings us to number 2. Extra virgin olive oil. It may seem like an unusual food in a kidney health video. After all, it's not packed with protein. It isn't known for vitamins. It's simply an oil. So why do dietitians recommend it so often? Because extra virgin olive oil is a key part of eating patterns like the Mediterranean diet, which has consistently been associated with better heart health and healthier aging. Notice the words associated with. Olive oil isn't a miracle food. Researchers study it as one piece of an overall healthy eating pattern, not as a single ingredient that does all the work. That's an important difference. Healthy eating is built from many good choices repeated over time. Heart health matters because healthy blood vessels also help support the kidneys. And that's one reason olive oil continues to receive so much attention. Extra virgin olive oil also contains naturally occurring plant compounds called polyphenols. You don't need to remember the name. Just know they are one reason researchers continue studying olive oil as part of healthy dietary patterns. Here's something many people notice for themselves. Have you ever tasted an olive oil that leaves a slight peppery feeling in the back of your throat? Many people think something is wrong. In reality, that gentle peppery finish is often considered a sign of high-quality extra virgin olive oil and its naturally occurring compounds. It's one of those small details you'll probably remember long after today's video ends. There's another lesson here. Don't let the words on the front of the package make the decision for you. A fat-free dressing may contain added sugar, refined starches, or extra sodium to improve the flavor. Meanwhile, a simple dressing made with extra virgin olive oil may contain ingredients you immediately recognize. That's why many dietitians encourage people to read the ingredient list, not just the marketing label. Imagine a simple lunch. Grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, or a bowl of homemade soup. Instead of a heavily processed dressing, add a small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil with fresh lemon and herbs. A simple change can make healthy meals much more enjoyable. And the meals you enjoy are usually the ones you keep eating. Like every food we've covered today, extra virgin olive oil isn't a treatment for kidney disease. It's simply one evidence-based ingredient that fits well into many healthy eating patterns when used in sensible portions. We've reached our final food. Ironically, it's one that many people stop eating after hearing a single word. Potassium. But what if that one nutrient has caused countless people to avoid a food that may still have a place on their plate? Let's look at the evidence behind our number one food. One word. Potassium. For many people living with chronic kidney disease, that single word changes everything. A doctor mentions watching your potassium. A blood test comes back a little high. Before long, many people start believing the safest choice is to avoid any food that contains it. But that's not how kidney nutrition works. Potassium isn't the enemy. It's an essential mineral your body needs. The real question is whether a food fits your kidney function, lab results, medications, and personal nutrition plan. And that brings us to our number one food, salmon. At first, salmon may seem like an unusual choice. It isn't especially low in potassium. And it certainly isn't the right food for everyone. But when it fits your individual healthcare plan, salmon offers several important benefits. It provides high-quality protein to help maintain muscle. It naturally contains omega-3 fats that support heart health. And it's satisfying enough to make healthy eating easier to stick with. Let's start with protein. As we age, preserving muscle becomes increasingly important. Strong muscles help you stay active, carry groceries, climb stairs, and continue doing the everyday activities that support independence. Salmon is one excellent source of that protein. It also provides omega-3 fatty acids, nutrients researchers have studied for decades because of their role in supporting cardiovascular health. Why does that matter? Because healthy blood vessels help deliver oxygen and nutrients to every organ, including your kidneys. That doesn't mean salmon treats kidney disease. It simply means it can be one nutritious choice within a balanced eating pattern when it matches your personal medical needs. Now let's come back to potassium. This is where many people discover that kidney nutrition is far more personal than internet food lists suggest. A food isn't automatically good or bad because of one nutrient. Your lab results, your stage of kidney disease, your medications, your blood pressure, and everything else you eat all work together. That's why two people with the same diagnosis may receive very different nutrition advice. Salmon also provides vitamin D and vitamin B12, adding even more nutritional value when it fits your eating plan. Preparation matters too. Fresh salmon is a great choice. Frozen salmon can be just as nutritious and often more convenient. If you buy canned salmon, compare labels since sodium levels can vary. And if you enjoy smoked salmon, remember it's usually much higher in sodium, making it a better choice for occasional meals if you've been advised to limit salt. Now imagine one simple dinner. A baked salmon fillet, roasted cauliflower, steamed green beans with a small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and a bowl of fresh blueberries for dessert. Nothing fancy, nothing extreme. Just a balanced meal built from practical foods that can fit many kidney-friendly eating plans. Before we finish, let's quickly look back at today's 5 foods. Blueberries reminded us that fruit doesn't automatically need to disappear. Cauliflower showed us that healthy meals can still be comforting. Egg whites demonstrated that protecting your muscles and your kidneys can go hand in hand. Extra virgin olive oil reminded us that food quality matters more than outdated low-fat trends. And salmon showed us perhaps the most important lesson of all. One nutrient never tells the whole story. The best food choices are always based on your individual health picture. If there's one message I'd like you to remember, it's this. Kidney-friendly eating isn't about living in fear of food. It's about replacing fear with understanding, working with your healthcare team, and building habits you can enjoy for years to come. Of course, every person's situation is different. Always follow the advice of your physician or registered dietitian, especially if your recommendations are based on your kidney function or blood test results. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of today's 5 foods surprised you the most? Or is there another kidney-friendly food that has become one of your favorites? Share it in the comments below. Your experience might help someone who's just beginning their kidney health journey. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more evidence-based videos on healthy aging, nutrition, and living well after 60. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next video.